talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. Yeah, we Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairin', gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. One eye open like Betty Wops and find to these Urkels that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow, who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, Black Sun, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairin' on them, Ric Flairin' on them, Ric Flairin' on them, Ric Flairin' son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack, Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man, A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the swag, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking, it's all facts. My advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeant is with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walk it, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? You already know it is your boy Scotty back with another one, man. Listen, hey, I was going to do, and I should have done, everything in me said I should have done a live post game. I really wanted to do a live post game because I was up. I'm talking about, I'm sitting in my bed like this, just like, damn, I should go live. Damn, I should go live. Damn, I really should go live right now. Because I really wanted to talk about this game. It was a great game. I mean, for one side, for the other. Now, I know you members are looking at me like, Scotty, why are you wearing, listen, it's Christmas at my house. I don't know what it is at your house. My wife doesn't believe in Thanksgiving. She does, but it's not like it's like a speed bump to get to Christmas. Now, me, I'm a Thanksgiving guy. I believe Thanksgiving is a real holiday. I do, and I stand by that. My favorite holiday goes Thanksgiving and then Christmas. That's just me. But in my household, if you're married and your wife is a Christmas person, then everything just gets skipped over. And it's just like Thanksgiving is like a day that you just hang out with family and you just it's just another day. And I'm like, no, you're not about to disrespect Thanksgiving like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just heard that Tank got a Thanksgiving song. There's not enough songs for Thanksgiving. I know we got the greens, beans, it needs more. Thanksgiving needs more recognition. But once again, like I said, it's Christmas at my house. So, you know, I'm like, dog, it's not even December. Like as soon as Halloween, November 1st, Christmas. Silent Night, OJs, you know what I'm saying? Sleigh bells, white Bama singing, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. It's that type of house. And like, I'm like, people just gonna disrespect Thanksgiving. People just gonna disrespect Thanksgiving. I don't appreciate that. I don't. We need to put more respect on Thanksgiving. That's what I'm saying. So it you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But hey, let's get into today's topic. Let's talk about this game. You know, listen, it was a good one. It was a barn burner. Okay, it was a barn burner. But before I go there, hey Zay, I gotta talk a little about your former alma mater. Now, it's a quick side note, all right? Before we get to the game, quick side note. Can I ask a question? It's just funny to me. All right. It's just funny to me that these were the same coaches that was with you when you won. Like, maybe it's just me, because that, to me, would Florida State be wrong to let you go? Because these were the same coaches that was with you when you was winning. When you went 11-1 and y'all fighting for the college playoffs and people ain't respecting you, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. That ain't right. That ain't right to me. That's just me personally. Because I think that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. Because that should be the same question Florida State fans should have with Mike Norvell. How do you get rid of staff members who helped you win to get to your contract extension, and now you let all them Bamas go because now you Bamas in the gutter? Listen, I'm just making an observation. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just making an observation. Now, Mike Norvell can do whatever he wants. He is the Power 5 jump off at this point. Okay? Florida State is the Power 5 jump off. You want an easy win? Put Florida State on your schedule. Okay? I never thought it would come to this. I mean, Florida State being a Power 5 jump off, that's crazy. Florida State being a homecoming team, that's crazy. That's crazy. But everybody getting the turn. Everybody getting the turn. Oh, you got Florida State? Oh, you got Florida State? Hey, our Florida State like that. She do this thing. I'm telling you, she let everybody hit. She let everybody hit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I mean, what? Florida State a homecoming team? That's different. That's different. But we'll see what it look like next year. Because you only got so much time to duck and dodge and get by with letting coaches go until it gets turned, the heat gets turned up on Mike Norvell. Because if we're being honest, him going, what was it, 11-1, 10-2, 10-1? You know what I'm saying? Like, that helped you get your contract extension, and you did it on a very contracty year. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, nice time to get an extension. You know what I'm saying? But that extension ain't looking too good. It's not looking like money well spent. They went undefeated, but their first loss was to Georgia in the bowl game because they didn't make the college playoffs. Absolutely. All right. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get into this game. Now, listen. You got to give – I don't think Kalen DeBoer gets enough credit for his play calling because it's not – first of all, it's finally realizing what Jalen Milroe does really, 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 really well, and that's run his ass off, no diddy, right? But I don't think people give enough credit for Kalen DeBoer in the creative way he draws plays up. And I always say this about great OCs, right? Great OCs blend with their players. They don't force a scheme on you, right? They say, hey, listen, this is what you do well. Let's build an offense around what you do well. Now, I do think Alabama, it took them a while, okay? I think you saw it in certain games when you would see Jalen Milroe run and have designed run plays for him, but they still wanted to make him a passer like they did like he did with Washington when he had Penix, right? But in this game, you saw it on full-fledged ability of that Bama Jalen Milroe is different. He is just different. And I think outside of the QB powers and the QB pulls and counters and all that type of stuff, my favorite play, right? My favorite play was actually the fake reverse, the fake toss, halfback screen. That was so nasty. Like, so nasty. The setup was so, but that's what great play callers do, because once again, at this level of football, at the highest level of football, the talent and the speed is there, right? You're not at LSU there's some scrubs at LSU, let's be honest, but you're not starting, you're not being a dominant player, or you're not recognized if you're not talented, right? There are other intangibles that's we can talk about that later, but what Kalen DeBoer does really good, and what you noticed on a lot of plays, some plays he didn't, but a lot of plays, there will always be a counter motion or counter play, or half the play would take the defense one way, and then the play would be designed to go the opposite way. So he wouldn't have to deal with a lot of the mesh or a lot of people just focusing on Jalen Milroe having the ball in his hands and running down the line. You get what I'm saying? So it was a great game plan. He called the game great. Jalen Milroe did exactly what he did very well, controlling the game, not putting the ball in harm's way, and just being a straight baller and running the ball down their throats. It was an amazing game. Now, LSU, listen, I don't know how you say this Bama's name. Nussmeier, Gus Monza, I don't give a damn. Let me say this. If I see that boy roll out like this again, I'm like, bro, stop it. Stop it. Every single time Garrett Nutterbutter was in the pocket, the Bama would be like, huh. I'm like, what is that? It only worked so many times. Stop it. Okay? Stop doing it. I felt like the boy off Harlem, like, stop shoot that little motherfucker. Stop doing that. Come on, man. What are we doing? And the biggest play was, it was right before half, the strip sack. Once again, he's in the pocket. He does this weird. Quarterbacks do that. So I'm not saying that quarterbacks don't do it, but you have to have something more in your arsenal than a pivot out, a spin out of the pocket pivot. Like, it was his go-to every single time. I mean, bro, work the pocket, slide out, back up, roll out right. Like, I did not understand it. He consistently kept doing it, and Alabama got hip to it after the first two times he did it, and he got away with it and got out to throw the ball. They got hip. They would just stretch him out. So they would go, he would pivot. The DNs will go around the circle, right? They'll go around the quarterback pocket. Once he felt him, he pivot out. They would just stretch him out because they knew he wasn't going to outrun him, right? And that's how he got the strip sack. And that, to me, was that was the biggest part of the game to me that changed the outcome of the game. It's 14-6. You go down, maybe get a field goal because they didn't have a problem moving the ball. They were getting to the red zone. They just couldn't close out right in the first half. So you move the ball down, you probably get a field goal. It's 14-9. It's not that it wouldn't have been that bad going into half. But you get the strip sack and it's 21-6. And by that time, I'm over here twiddling in my thumbs like, this don't look too good. And the thing about LSU is that, if I'm being honest, what's tough, right, is when you see those great Joe Burrow teams where every level, every position had a guy. You don't see that on the LSU team. Like, the running back's okay. Lacey's good, right? But you don't see like an enormous amount of talent, an enormous amount of just like, oh man, that kid's a stud, that kid's a baller. That you don't see a lot of this on the LSU offensive side of the ball. Now, my personal opinion is this: you gotta find a way to get zero the ball. You have to find ways to get number 0 the ball. Okay, I don't know how. I mean, you got him on kick return, but you got to get him involved offensively. I don't give a damn if it's jet sweeps. I don't give a damn if it's flare routes. Put him in the slot. I don't care. You got to find a way to get number 0 the ball when it comes to LSU. And you got to find a way to get Lacey more involved early in the game. You got to get Lacey more involved early in the game. Even though you know Alabama is hyper-focused on Lacey, you have to find multiple ways to get him. Put him in the slot, right? Give him a tunnel screen. Give him something quick and easy where he can get the feel of the game early. As a wide receiver, to feel impactful, you got to get touches. You got to get the ball in the air. You see how Alabama gets the ball to Ryan Williams? They'll get him on a reverse. They'll get him on a tunnel screen. It's not always down the field stuff that you can get a wide receiver involved into the game. And I think LSU's offensive coordinator and the mindset they have to do better ways of just getting their guys the ball. Literally just their guys the ball. And I think number 0 and Lacey should be big factions into that. And if I'm being honest, because this is like my first LSU, like this is the first time I watched LSU very intently, I just don't see a lot of guys on that team. Like it's not a lot of guys that you just be like, oh wow, oh yeah, that guy's I don't see it. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's me. I don't see it. I like Lacey. I've seen Lacey before, but to just watch the whole game from beginning to end, I did not see an impressive, talented squad. And we're talking LSU. We're talking LSU. And if I'm being honest, that was even on the defensive side of the ball. Like the linebackers at LSU, maybe I'm missing something. Please let me know if I'm missing something. Once again, this is the first time I watched an LSU game from beginning to end. I don't see anybody. The linebackers were like, why are you playing? The DBs were okay. I mean, they really didn't get tested too much because, I mean, Jalen Milroe didn't throw the ball around the yard. It was mostly, running up the gut and stuff like that. But, yeah, them linebackers for LSU, I ain't see it. I ain't see it. That's just me. I ain't see it. Now, let's dive a little deeper. And I got a new award for the Power 5 Bamas. It's called the Come See Me Award. Come see me. Bring your resume. Because you might not have a job by the end of the season. And let me tell you what it looked like. The look that you get went on the Come See Me Award. That's that look right. Hey, I'm telling you, when you got to explain your job, that's the Come See Me Award. That is the Come See Me Award. Blake, come see me. Come in my office. Hey, listen, I'm telling you right now. Listen, there is no way in God's green earth that you get beat by, you literally got beat by 3 plays. QB power, QB counter, QB keep. I'm going to say that again. You got beat by 3 plays. QB power, QB counter, and QB keep, right? The first touchdown was an RPO that he just kept. RPO was going this way. He was on the goal line. Boom, kept going. The 75-yarder was a counter. The 75-yarder was a counter. The one he got, and then he took it to the right, and then he just outran everybody on the side. I mean, literally just outran everybody. That was a QB counter. The one that he took up the middle, juke left, juke right, cut across and scored on that one, I believe that was a QB power. If it wasn't, it was another QB keep. Like, you literally got beat by 3 plays. 3 plays. As a defensive coordinator, you got to come see me. Because what are you not doing? What are you not doing? Now, I'm not a defensive coordinator. I can't tell you what it looked like. I can't tell you what it schemed like. All I know is you got worked. What? And I'm not acting like Jalen Milroe is some scrub. Let's be very clear. Jalen Milroe is far from a scrub. But God damn, 3 plays? That's like Pop Warner football type stuff. Like, make them do something different.
Give Nick Sheridan, like I said, Caleb gotta give.
Ain't nothing you can say.
Nick Sheridan.
It's nothing you can say to explain how you are getting beat.
Gotta give.
Oh yeah, we had a gap scheme right there. And shut up. Jesus. Now, listen, he might be part of that Mike Novell staff that just got let go. Hey, listen, the Power 5, they fire you mid-season, baby. Hey, listen, it ain't no, I'm gonna get you after the season. Hey, your services are no longer required. It'd be like that. Absolutely. Yeah, that come see me award. I'm gonna need you to come see me. Because you got to explain that one to me. 3 plays? 3 plays? Nah, that's not what that is. All right, let's look at some of these stats for the game. Jalen Milroe went 12 of 18 for 109 yards, 12 carries, 185 yards, and 4 touchdowns, 15.4 yards per carry. Jalen Milroe now holds the single-season rushing touchdown record at Alabama with 16 rushing touchdowns in a season. That's absolutely crazy. Garrett Nutterbutter, 27-42, 239 yards, a TD, and 2 interceptions. Okay. Can we keep it a buck, though? I'm going to keep it a buck with you. The one that Lawson picked off, that was tough. Listen, he would have got me on NCAA. You can't get mad at Nutterbutter because that's how you're supposed to read it. You read it 1 to 2, inside man to outside man. Lawson just made a hell of a play, right? Because he gets washed by the first slant. So you think he's going to either ride with them or it's going to be longer. I mean, maybe if Nutterbutter throws it a tad earlier, it might be a touchdown. But Lawson just made a hell of a play. I mean, I just, like I said, he would have got me on NCAA. He would have. He absolutely would have. But again, I don't want to take too much burden off of Nutter Butter, but I don't like the play call there. Like anytime I think about a red zone play, I always think about how you try to isolate to one route, right? So if it's, trips, double slant, inside corner, you know what I'm saying? Something to where you're getting a mesh concept to where you're isolating on one guy, maybe a pick route, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a fade to Lacey, a back shoulder fade to Lacey. Like, I like to isolate because you don't get caught in the mesh like he did. He got caught up. The mesh actually messed him up with reading everything, right? Because once the slant went, Dante bumped the slant, came through, and then he slid off, and then he got the pick. I mean, it's a hard read in a short field. That's all I'm saying. A lot of times you throw it high, right? You throw it high to make sure like anything you're trying to throw across the middle in the red zone, you kind of throw it high just to make sure that no hands or tip balls or anything like that, and you lead them to the back of the pylon or the back of the back of the end zone. But for me personally, I didn't like the play call. He read it right, so you can't get mad at him. It was a great play by Lawson, and I hate that for Nussmeier. I think that's how you pronounce it. Nussmeier, I won't say nothing about it, but just Nussmeier, right? Because it wasn't the wrong read. It just, like, once again, it was a great play by Lawson. But overall, it always seemed like Nussmeier would do just enough to get you where you want, and then something happens. Like, that's what it feels like. He brings you up. It's like a story, right? Like a story that brings you up. You're like, oh, this is a great story. And then the book, somebody closes the book, or like part 2. And you're like, damn, like, that's what Nussmeier feels like as a quarterback. Like, he does just enough to be like, oh, that was a great throw. Oh, that was a great this, that was a great that. And then when you really need him, when you need him to make a play, when you need him to make the play, he lets you down. And it's just like, where do you go? Do you stay with that and knowing it's limited, right? Because he'll beat the bad teams, right? But will he go out and beat the good teams? That's what you don't know with Nussmeier. Because it's like, when I really need you and I really need you to make the play, can you make the play like a Jalen Milroe can when you need him, right? And I don't see that from Garrett in the game. It was just tough. It was just tough. All right, here's some game stats for y'all, because I know how you Power 5 members love some game stats. Now, if you're just looking at this, you would think the game was pretty damn close. Look at that. 2 punts. Both got 66 plays. Time of possession's only 9 minutes more, right? If you actually flip this, I'm sorry, I didn't do it right. The left side is Alabama. The right side is LSU. Let me just be very clear about that. So the left side is Alabama. The right side is LSU. If you're looking at it from the screen, right? So I definitely should have did that better. That's on me, right? But total plays the same amount. 2 third downs for LSU for 4th down conversions. Like, when you're looking at literally just looking at these stats, you'll be like, oh, this game was pretty close. But the turnovers is the difference. The fumble by Garrett and the 2 interceptions by Garrett. Like, goddamn, like 3 turnovers by your quarterback is not going to get the job done in this game, where you had opportunities to capitalize. Being in the red zone, let's not forget the run by the freshman that he got ran down by the 3 or 4 yard line, and Alabama stopped him held him to a field goal. Again, you get down to the red zone, you kick another field goal. Again, you get to the red zone, you throw a pick. Like, you gotta give kudos. You gotta give kudos to Alabama's defense for stepping up in the major points of the game where they needed to get stops. They got stops, and they were in the biggest parts of the red zone, right? Because that game is completely different if those red zone trips turn into touchdowns. Now it's 14-14, and the LSU crowd is into the game. Hey, by the way, hey, listen, that night entrance, oh, that shit was tough. you can't have a beastie interest like LSU does, and you get whooped. You cannot have an entrance like LSU does at a night game and get mollywopped. Mollywopped. You can't do that. You can't. It should not be allowed. It should not be allowed, but they did. They damn sure did. Got whooped at Death Valley down. But okay. Now I got a poll up, right? I got a poll up asking, should big game Brian Kelly be fired? Now, mind you, he's in his third year of a 10-year deal that he has with LSU. Now, I want to be very clear. I've always stated on this platform that I don't have a problem with a Harbaugh at Michigan, right, where you're winning 9 or 10 games a year and he gets you on the brink, like you're right at the doorstep. I don't mind keeping those coaches around because keeping you relevant, keeping you in the mix, or keeping you in the hunt for the fight, it matters. It matters. You don't want to be 7-3. You don't want to be, 5-6 or 6-5 or 7. You don't want to be anything like that, right? You want to be in the mix. You want to be those 9-win teams, 8-win teams, those undefeated. You want to be a part of that. But I don't know if Big Game Brian gets you that because of his issues with big games. Like Harbaugh had issues with Ohio State. That was his crux. He would lose a game that he shouldn't lose every now and again, but the biggest crux to him was Ohio State. But I mean, you can't make this a pattern. 2022. All right, first year at the job. Okay, we understand. Kudos, whatever. He loses 24-23 to Florida State. He loses 40-13 to Tennessee. He loses 38-23 to Texas A&M, and that was a bad Texas A&M team. Right? And then he loses 50-30 to Georgia. Next year, right? Again, 45-24 to Florida State. 55-49 to Ole Miss. And then 42-28 to a Nick Saban Alabama team. Now, coming into 2024, you lose to a bad USC team. Texas A&M, pretty decent, 38-23. Now, listen, this is my thing. This is my issue. If you have not beaten Alabama, because you didn't beat them when you were at Notre Dame, you haven't beat them now. If this was not the year to beat Alabama, explain to me when that year would be. Somebody's got to explain that to when that year is going to be. When you get Alabama, Nick Saban's not there. Kalen DeBoer's first year. This is the time to sneak one in on Alabama on a down year. To sneak one in. And you can't even do that in a first-year head coach replacing Nick Saban, and you got him at home. And you got him at home. You gotta get that. You got this game. To me, this game, the score should have been reversed, right? This game in your backyard at night at Death Valley, this should be your game. This should be your game. No questions about it. No questions about it. This should be your game in your backyard, third year. I mean, like, I think the biggest thing for me, the game wasn't even competitive. Like, if you really watch the game never really felt competitive. After the strip sack and it was 21-6, the game just felt like it was over. It really did. And that shouldn't be at home at night in Death Valley. There should never be a time where you feel like the game is over at your home stadium, right? The feeling of the game just felt off after the strip sack. And then you had Alabama, they were just leaning on them, just straight leaning on them. So for me, listen, I don't even know why you left Notre Dame. Because I think you would have had you have an excuse at Notre Dame of why you can't win, right? Because it's like, oh, academics and it's hard and this and all that, right? You have like built-in excuses at Notre Dame, even though they don't accept those excuses, but you do have built-in excuses. At LSU, there is no excuse. There is no excuse at losing at LSU, especially in the recruiting area that you're in, especially the brand that LSU is. There is no excuse. There's excuses at Notre Dame. They don't believe in them. They don't want to believe in them. But they're excuses, right? But at the end of the day, man, I mean, can LSU 10 years? Why? My question is, if we're talking contracts, how does Brian Kelly get what has Brian Kelly done to receive a 10-year deal? 10 years. Like, I would not be mad at Ole Miss if they gave Lane Kiffin an extension with a 10-year. I would not be mad at them because of what you've seen Lane Kiffin build at Ole Miss. Would not be mad at him, right? Texas, Steve Sarkisian, 7-8-year deal, wouldn't be mad at that. Georgia, Kirby Smart, and LeBron James lifetime deal, wouldn't be mad at that, right? Nick Saban lifetime deal, wouldn't be mad. But what has Brian Kelly done to receive a 10-year deal at LSU? I have no idea. And that is overpaying the market because now it's coming to fruition. Like, yeah, are they competitive? Yeah. Are they going to beat teams? Absolutely. But for LSU, it's going to come down to, are we in the college football playoffs? Right? Are we in the college football playoffs? Are we competing for national championships? That's what it's going to come down to at LSU. And that is not what you're getting with a Brian Kelly. If I'm just giving you now he might, listen, in 10 years, you might slip, fall, bump your head, and might fall into a team that runs the table. It's possible. Anything's possible. Look at Mike Norvell. Anything's possible, right? But for what Brian Kelly had done to where he is now and being in a 10-year deal, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? Now, the question is what's next for LSU? Where do you go from here? Well, you got a Florida team that is licking its wounds from the ass whooping that they got from Texas. I mean, that shit looked like a rec league game, the way Texas was throwing the ball around them, right? So you got Florida coming up. I don't know if Lagway's playing. I don't know how, I know he got the hamstring injury. And I want to be very clear. Florida wins that game if Lagway doesn't get hurt against Georgia. I want to be very clear about that. Argue with your mom, not me. I watched the game. Florida wins that game if Lagway doesn't go down. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, and yes, they do. They win that game. They win that game. So you got Florida. They're licking their wounds. Most likely you'll get that game. The Vanderbilt game. Listen, man, you can't. You can't go into Vanderbilt overlooking Vanderbilt. I know it's Vanderbilt, but that Diego kid, all right, he's killing. Was it Pavla? 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 I don't care. The Bama balling. All right. So you got that, and then OU. It's OU, right? I'm a Texas fan, so listen. That's what people thought about. That's what people thought Alabama was going to do, and Vanderbilt beat Alabama. Listen, any given week, it can go down. So I just want to be very clear. The team Vanderbilt just beat you 42-13. I know games. You can't always take one game to the next game. You know, style makes fights. I get all that. But be very clear. The team that beat you 42-13, Vanderbilt beat them. They beat that man scheme to death because that's what Alabama does on defense. They play a hard-nosed man scheme, and Vanderbilt whooped it to death. So, they don't, listen, come in there and play around if you want to. Vanderbilt will walk out with the W very easily. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that might be at Vanderbilt. Let me see. LSU upcoming schedule. Nope, it's at LSU. All right, so it's at LSU. So yeah, but all right. My point exactly. Hey man, listen. That Indiana team is scared. That Indiana team is scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. That Indiana team is scary. Now listen, anybody that's a Florida fan, there's a kid on Florida. His number is 13. He plays defense. I like that kid. a lot. Number 13 on Florida, that kid. Now, he has a problem with speedy guys. I'm not going to lie to you. He got a problem with speedy guys. Like, speedy guys get up on him real fast. They'll give him but anything in the box, anything in that box, in them alleyways, if he can come downhill, that boy's a problem. Number 13 at Florida is an absolute problem. Now, listen, I hate this Mercer game. I hate this Mercer game. Like, why are you putting Mercer in? Why is Mercer the last 3 games in your season? Gates, that's his name. Yes. Yeah, I like that kid. a lot. No Diddy, but he's dog. Yeah. Why is Mercer in your last 3 games? Come on. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? Okay, what are we doing? Listen, if we're being honest, this should be a walk in the park. This should be a moonwalk 3-0. Listen, Auburn is ass. Now, it's a rival. I get it. It's a rivalry game. Iron Bowl. It's the Iron Bowl. But let's keep it a buck. Auburn is not good. Okay? Auburn is not good. That Iron Bowl should look like this LSU game. Now, I don't think Auburn is going to let Jalen Milroe get off like that because they're going to make sure he passed the ball. But, yeah. Come on, man. These last 3 games are ass cheeks. Okay? Ass to cheeks. But it should be interesting way how it ends out and see how it plays out in the SEC. Now, let me say this. I think there has to be a real conversation. Let me answer this real quick, Rocky. Shout out to my guy Ike, the War Report. Let me see. War Report. He asked me this question in the offseason about Deion coming to coming to Auburn, and when the rumors are flaring, when the rumors are going, I want to see if, let me see. All right, here we go. This is what I said. This is exactly what I said if Prime would have went to Auburn. Like, Lane Kiffin is the watered down Kool-Aid version of Deion Sanders. Like, you think you've seen trolling? You think you've seen like pizzazz? You haven't seen anything until Coach Prime comes into a locker room or a speaker or a monitor. It don't matter, wherever Coach Prime touched down, that it's a story. Mm-hmm. So my thing is this: I'm telling you, Nick Saban and Kirby Smart don't want no smoke, and the reason why they don't want no smoke, I'm telling you, Auburn. Like, if I was an Auburn fan, I'd be doing whatever I can to get Deion, because Nick Saban and Kirby Smart cannot talk to that black kid from the hood and resonate with him. They just can't. Listen, I did a whole interview about that, Jay. He asked me, just asked me my questions on what it would be like and stuff like that. I told him straight up, it would be pandemonium. It would have been pandemonium. If Deion would have touched down in Auburn, it would have been absolute pandemonium. You wouldn't have wanted to be in the SEC. I'm telling you straight up, like, you wouldn't have wanted to be in the SEC. Facts. It's just facts. You wouldn't want to be in the SEC. I'm gonna just leave that one alone. All right. But overall, let me say this, right? Because I definitely lost my train of thought, because I saw that and I just wanted to say that it's pure, just, oh my gosh. You couldn't even imagine how stupid. You couldn't even imagine how stupid. You see what it looks like in Colorado, and nobody even gave a damn about Colorado, right? Until Deion got there. I'm sorry. Okay. You see, now you made me lose my train of thought about what I wanted to talk about before the Auburn thing came up. But let me see. Let me say this. At the end of the day, when it comes to Alabama, I want to get on Jalen Milroe. I want to talk. There has to be a serious question about Jalen Milroe as a quarterback, right? Because I'm gonna say this, and you might not like it. Alabama fans might not like it, but I'm gonna just keep it a buck. If Lamar Jackson got the scrutiny that he got coming out of a pro-style offense with Bobby Petrino, you got to give Jalen Milroe 10 times that. 10 times. Because Lamar, on a constant basis, showed you that he could throw the ball at a high level at Louisville. You got to give Jalen Milroe you got to break him down and say, is he a NFL quarterback? And if he is, where does he go to show his skill set? Because if everybody was telling Lamar Jackson to turn into a wide receiver, will he be a running back? Like, there has to be a serious question on Jalen Milroe playing quarterback at the next level. It just has to be, because I'll say this. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I see Jalen Milroe being a Dak Prescott. And if you remember Dak Prescott at Mississippi State, he was doing the exact same thing that Jalen Milroe is doing now at Alabama. And they kind of molded him, even though Dak jumped in right away as a rookie and stuff like that, but you got to remember how limited the offense was, and remember that he had Ezekiel Elliott behind him, that he literally just had to live. The first 3 years was just literally Dak living and handing the ball off, pretty much the first 4 years. The first 4 years of Dak Prescott's career was literally handing the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott and making play action throws that were wide open. So to me, and now you see what Dak has become. Now you see what Dak has become as a passer and things like that. And I think Jalen Milroe can develop to be a better passer. And if anybody says Tim Tebow, he has way better mechanics than Tim Tebow. Let's just be very clear about that. He has better mechanics than Tim Tebow. Right? But yeah, there's going to be a hard question because this is my thing, right? I really liked the quarterback from Georgia last year. I just liked him because he was a gamer and he was a winner. And I think for Jalen Milroe, the intangibles that he has as just being a gamer, that has to mean something in the form of football. It just has to. It has to mean something, right? Of being a gamer, to be able to run faster than a lot of pro athletes that you're going against on the field. That has to be used for something, and then it has to be able to be. I'll say this. Can I say this? I think if Jalen Milroe goes to the 49ers, I don't think we're really having this conversation. I don't think we're having this conversation, if I'm being honest. And Jalen Milroe can be a 4th, 5th round pick. If he goes to the 49ers, I don't think we're having this conversation. Do I think that he is still a limited quarterback as a rookie and a sophomore? Yeah, he's going to be limited, but the running game that they have, the creativity Kyle Shanahan shows on a consistent basis, I think you can get the best out of Jalen Milroe's skill set. He's not incapable of throwing the ball. It's just not, you don't want to see him throw the ball 30, 40 times. If you can get him under 25 times throwing the ball, that's absolutely amazing, right? And using his feet, you add him to a dominant running attack. Come on, man. To where if I hand the ball off my running back and go for 100, or if I keep it, I go hit my head on the goalpost. That's next level. Listen, I don't know who put Carson Beck, because I see the questions of Carson. I don't know who put Carson Beck as a top. That Bama is ass. That Bama is ass. Carson Beck is bad. And it's not even no situation to where it's like the only reason that he gets away with the stuff that he gets away with is because Georgia is so loaded talent-wise. But God, he is bad. If you ever seen like media propaganda to boost up a white quarterback, look no further than Carson Beck. He is, to me, he's like Mitchell Trubisky. He's the Daniel Jones. Like, why are we even talking about these dudes? He is bad. Absolutely bad. Like, listen, there's no reason he should be drafted in the first 2 rounds of anything. Golf, darts, badminton, pickleball. There's no reason. There's no reason why Carson Beck should be in discussion to be drafted in the first 2 rounds of mini golf. I do not care. He is not good at all. Period. Point blank. Period. So, Jesus Christ. Like, when I was watching that game, I said, all right, woo, yikes. That Ole Miss game was really good. But hey, listen, that boy Prince, that number 1 from Ole Miss, man, you give Lane Kiffin a defense. It's not. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Dart. I gotta watch a little bit more film of him, but I like Dart. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, if you want to hype up a white boy for me, hype up Dart. I like Dart. I gotta watch more film. But just from what I've seen, I like Dart. I really do. I like that kid. I like that kid a lot. I like him a lot. I gotta go watch him. I don't think he's better than Cam. I don't think he's better than Shador, but I like Dart for what he is. I like him. I like him. So yeah. But hey, yeah, listen. Woo! Man, that number one different. That Prince, I can't say his last name. That number one from that Bama's a grown-ass man, okay? Grown-ass man. The freshman that took over for Dart while he was getting checked out came in smoking, though. Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, he has time. He has time to build himself up, but I do like Dart was working Bama last season, no did he? Hype up the kid from Oregon. I got to watch more tape of Gabriel, but just from what I've seen, I'm like, okay. I watched like 2 games, right? Like for me, I like to watch about 4 or 5 games to kind of get like the gist of what a player is. He kind of gives me like Bo Nix vibes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like pretty decent throw on the run, not the best pocket passer, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, he's okay. Like I just, when I watch him play, it's like a backyard football type of guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what he reminds me of. I'm not a huge fan of watching Dylan Gabriel, but Gabriel damn near 30. Yeah, I heard he broke the record for Case Keenum or something like that. So it is what it is. Now, let me be honest, because I know there's probably some Colorado fans in here. Okay, let me say this. If I had a choice, if I'm a team and I'm drafting a quarterback, it all depends on what you want, right? Because we know Shador and Cam are going to be the top 2 guys, or should be the top 2 guys. Because there's always a random guy that comes out of nowhere in a draft combine who throws the ball a country mile, and you're like, oh wow, let's go back and watch the tape and all that type of stuff. But 1 and 2 is Cam and Shador. Now listen, this is my take. I'm taking Cam Ward over Shador because of the multiple systems that Cam Ward has been in and the fluidity of which he's won, right? Like, so what I mean by that is his time at Incarnate Word, his time at Washington, Wazoo, or whatever they call it, Washington, and his time at Miami. They've all had different schemes. They've all been different types. And I just like that I've seen him in different scenarios, and he's been successful in all those scenarios. And the one thing that I love about Cam Ward is he just looks like the game comes slow, right? The game comes slow to him. And I think where him and Shador are really, really good at is that the way they buy time in the pocket with the going up and backing up and moving here and moving there, they both do that really well. They both have really, really great pocket presence. That for me. Now, the one thing I think for me that I put Shador over Cam, Shador got the clutch gene. Like Shador has the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady clutch gene. It's just in him. It's just like there's not a game that I would ever count out Shador if he's down by a touchdown. I'm just not. If he's down by a touchdown and he has the ball, I'm not counting the game out. I'm just not, because he's going to do something. I don't know what it is. He's just going to do something to break your heart. He just is. It's just going to be like, damn, why did we give him the ball back? Every single time, it is without fail, Shador is going to do something to break your heart at the end of the game. It's just like, damn. And if he doesn't do it, you're more surprised that he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. Now, I'm going to be honest. If the Cowboys look like they're going to be in the top 10 picks, probably top 5. I don't want to hear it. I'm a Cowboys fan. Shut up. Move it along. I'm talking draft. Now, if I had a choice between Cam and Shador, it all depends. I'm going to just keep it real with you. I'm a Cowboys fan. Jerry, if you're about making money, it's no question you go with Shador. It's no question because one, Shador is a great facilitator, right? So if you get great talent around him, he's going to do his thing. I think Cam Ward could have a CJ Stroud type of impact on a team to where you believe in him, you ride with him, you roll with him. I think Cam Ward could be a CJ Stroud type of intangible guy. But if you want to make money, because that's all Jerry wants to do is make money, right? Like if you want to hype train through the roof, you go draft Shador Sanders and you look nothing. You don't look back. Number 2 jerseys being sold today. Number 2 jerseys are getting sold out today. If word gets out that Shador Sanders is getting drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, just absolutely getting sold out, right? So it all depends on. It just makes sense for Jerry. It just makes sense for Jerry if you do that. Do I think Cam Ward is a better? Yes, I think Cam Ward would be the better quarterback fit for the Cowboys. But, and I'm not saying Shador would be bad for the Cowboys. I wouldn't mind either one of them, for being honest. But I just think you'll have the fandom and the hype train with Shador. There won't be much of a hype train behind Cam Ward until he plays and starts winning and stuff like that. Because being a Cowboys fan, they don't need much to get the hype going. They don't need it. I don't think that. Listen. Okay. You want to see Shador come down to earth? Go to Vegas. Go to Vegas. Go to Vegas. Like, you want to see, like, it was like when life comes at you hard, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when keeping it real goes wrong, go to Vegas and see how that works out for you. Now, you'll have the hype train, but boy, oh boy, you're talking about rough. He probably is going to look like Bryce. He probably going to look a little bit like Bryce did when he went to Carolina. Like, I don't see much different. I won't see much different there. Unless you get a new OC and new staff and people that you really believe in, it's going to look exactly like Bryce in Carolina. It just is. You can't tell me no different. Let me open these call lines up. 518-263-8124. 518-263-8124.
There is one other participant in the conference.
Rocky, coming to you.
Hey, man. I'm glad you opened up the call line. This is what I wanted to ask you about Shador, right? When Shador came in as a freshman into college football, is this one of the great developmental jobs that a coaching staff, father has done? I can't think of anybody quite like, because I haven't followed anybody like that. But when you look at him coming in as a freshman and the opportunity he was given out of high school, and to be developed all the way to a first round pick, could you ever have seen this coming, or not before his freshman year, but going into his freshman year?
You would have to say no, right? You would to me, just my personal opinion, you would have to say no. But how I truly feel, I feel as if he would have went to FAU, we're not having this conversation. If he would have, if he sticks at FAU, we're not even having this conversation. I still think there's there's things that Shador does, I think, are just Shador-ish, like just the intangibles of how because when you have the last name Sanders, but the pressure that it comes with, the mantle that you hold, the cloud that you walk with because of your father, you know what pressure is. You've had it your whole life. That's all you know how to move through is through pressure, right? So there's things about him that just you can't even describe. He just got it because he's used to holding it. But I don't think if he goes to FAU, I don't think this is even. I don't think this is even a question. He's not a first round pick.
Well, here's what I'll say about it, right? Shador is one of the few black quarterbacks that fall in this category that is a top prospect. He doesn't have any of the great measurables. whether it be speed, whether it be arm strength, whether it be, he's simply a quarterback with elite intangibles, right? And I think you're right, Scotty, is that if he goes to FAU, all these great intangibles he has is not taken into account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One, I don't think he plays with the complementary receivers that he plays with, and that makes his intangibles even more special.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I watched the guy break down that number 10's route he ran for a touchdown.
LeJounte.
And
yeah.
Yeah. And that route was nasty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's probably the third best wide receiver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's working with some really high level guys. And even at Jackson State, for that level, he was working with some really high level guys. I just, and so the point I'm bringing up, I think this is just one of the greatest greatest developmental jobs a coach and a father and a staff has done with Shedeur over the course of 4 years that I've ever seen. But I haven't really followed anybody quite like Shedeur for 4 years.
I don't think,
to be honest.
if I'm being honest, like really, and this, I want to be, I don't think Shedeur has been really, really developed. I think Shedeur has just gotten the game reps, because literally, like, half the battle of quarterback is just understanding the game. And I think he understands it at such a high level that he just needed the reps. He just needed to see it over and over. That's why the freshman year was so important, and him having such a great defense, because it saved him from having to do too much, right? So he could just literally do what looks right, do what right looks like, and consistently do that. Now, when you're in year 3, in year 4, it looks different because I've played enough. I've seen it enough times. I have enough reps to understand the game, right? I've thrown the ball enough times to get it. And if you keep elevating the talent around me, I just continue to keep making the right play. And then and this is the thing that separates Shedeur, is that he can give you 5 special plays that only Shedeur can do. You get what I'm saying? But 95% of the time, he's just making the right play. And that's half the battle with quarterbacks, is just knowing where to go with the ball, pre-snap determination, and making the right reads. My thing is this: what I would have loved to see, and is just Shedeur be at a Washington and having to do it differently, right? Like making it look somewhat different than what he's comfortable in, right? Like of what he's done. But again, it is what it is. I think he's a special talent, like mentally wise. I think he's probably one of the smartest quarterbacks, of just understanding leverage, understanding pre-snap determination, understanding space, and concepts. But you're right. He doesn't have the rocket arm. He doesn't have the elite speed. He doesn't have any of those intangibles. My comp for him would be like an Eli Manning, right? And the reason I say that is because Eli wasn't special at Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? But he had the Manning last name, and he got in, and he did enough to win. And I think that's what Shedeur is. Like, Shedeur is not elite, but he's going to do what you ask him. He's going to make, like Eli in the Super Bowl. He's going to make special plays that only Shedeur, only Eli could make, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Shedeur wins the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised if Shedeur takes his team to the playoff, because he's going to do the right play. That's just who Shedeur is.
Well, let me say this, Scotty, and this is the last thing I'll say. And this has been an observation of him at Jackson State and at Colorado. And it's funny when you talk about a great player, because usually great players, it don't. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to see if you agree. He's one of the few, really good players that gets worse when he resorts to hero ball. He doesn't get better. He gets worse. He gets more reckless, and his flaws, or the lack of physical ability, is illuminated once he starts trying to play hero ball. And I'm used to guys. I mean, you know, I prefer more physically gifted players at every position, but it seems like as long as the system doesn't break down on it, he can look great. But if he's forced to play hero ball like for a game or an extended period of time, his effectiveness degrades over time. I'm gonna hang up and see what you got to say about that.
Hey, appreciate the call, Rock. My thing when it comes to him in hero ball, I think with I think like with Tony Romo, right? Like Tony Romo was high risk, high reward. Like he would do hero ball, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work, right? A lot of Brett Favre, sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. And it's the same thing with Shador. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I think for Shador is going to have to understand like how I moved in college and all the hero ball that I tried to play in college. Like look at Caleb Williams right now, right? Caleb Williams was super athletic, run around the yard run around in college, run around the field 10, 15 seconds. Doing all this, man, that Bama be on his back. He be in Chicago like, damn, God, why have thou forsaken me? Like, that's what he looked like that now in Chicago, right? So Shador has to understand if the elites of the elites, the Cam Newtons, the RG3s, the Lamar Jacksons, the Michael Vicks, like, if they couldn't get away from some of these players, you will not be able to as well. So he's going to have to work accordingly to figure out what hero ball looks like for him at the NFL level. That's all I'm saying. I still think Shador can do hero ball and it worked for him, and he can do hero ball and it not work for him. But at the end of the day, his intelligence is going to get him through. Dion from the SIP coming to you.
What's up, Scotty?
What's goody?
Hey, man, great show, man. Great show, man. I'm glad to see you spread your wings out, broadening your horizons. Hey, but the excuse me, the comparison you did with Eli and Shador was spot on, man. With me being from Mississippi, I kind of see some of the same characteristics that Eli had. You know, he's not going to be the one that's going to just blow you away with just talent. And it's not saying Shador is a talented, but I believe that he is going to be what, Cam was calling Purdy and a couple more quarterbacks. He's going to be a game manager. He ain't going to lose you the game, but the thing that is going to separate him, he can go out and win you a game too. So,
yeah.
But, I definitely believe that, he will do, he'll do, if he get with the right system and they, like you said, they put a decent defense around him and ask him, okay, hey, make the throws, you can read the defense, and we're gonna get you a good running back. And hey, let's go out and win a Super Bowl. And I believe he could be a quarterback that can win, two, maybe three, Super Bowls with the right fit.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And let's be honest, like if you're a Giants fan or if you ever watch, Eli in the fourth quarter was nasty. If Eli got you in the fourth quarter, boy, listen, if Eli kept the game close and got your ass in the fourth quarter, Eli was going to tear you up. That's just what Eli was.
Yeah, right.
He would stink it up 1 through 3. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan, so right. I've seen it. He would stink it up for 1 through 3. And if the game was close in the fourth quarter, Eli Manning would do something crazy. And Shador has those intangibles. Like that's just what just what he is, right? So once again, I don't want nobody to think that's a knock to Shador. It's just that he, like you said, Eli didn't blow you away with super athleticism and nothing like that. He just made plays. Right. Like this is what he does. He just makes plays.
I mean, it shouldn't be a knock, man. Hell, Eli is going to be a Hall of Famer. So if Shador go down the same path as Eli, he'll be a Hall of Famer as well. So, but hey, yeah, man. Hey, great show again, man. Hey, good hearing from you, brother. Keep up the good work, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call. 7034 coming to you.
Scott, what's going on, player? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing good, man. I see you stretching out, man. You doing that thing, man. You doing that wonderful, wonderful job, man. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
And I just want to add to the whole Dion and Archie thing. Do you think if he pulled the Archie Manning, how you think that'll go over with the NFL owners? Like Archie was like, well, Eli not going to do this. He's not going to do this. Will he have the cachet to say where Shador is going to go and where Shador is not going to go?
if I'm Deion, I'm bigger than Archie Manning. Like Archie, nobody's ever going to compare Archie Manning to me. I am
Right.
You know, like some people would say I'm the greatest athlete outside of Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
if you let Archie get away with it, I'm Deion freaking Sanders. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how sometimes you got to pull that card. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, like, hey, last time I checked, I'm Deion freaking Sanders. So I wouldn't be mad at him for pulling that card, because if Archie was allowed to pull it, I'm about to pull it. For my son and my kid, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now it might be backlash because he's black. You know what I'm saying? Archie,
and that's kind of where I was going with that thing, but I didn't want to say it like that. But that's kind of, you know, he's gonna be the arrogant black man as opposed to, he's gonna be the arrogant black man as opposed to a man that's looking at what's best for his son. That's not how he's gonna be seen.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of. But he'll be absolutely 100% right for doing that if he chose to do that, though.
I wouldn't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? And let's be honest, like Phillip Rivers was no scrub. I mean, like Phillip Rivers was pretty dang good too. You know what I'm saying? So it was what it was when, you know, with the switch out. But I mean, you know, Mr. Campbell says, you know, Eli was the #1 pick. That was the leverage. I mean, to me, it's like Shedeur. Listen, if the premise is him going, listen, if I'm Deion and he's not my son or whatever, but the premise should not be how high he goes, is does he go to the right situation? Because the right situation is going to dictate how much money you end up making in the long run, right? Because
and how
successful he's not Deion, to where you drop Deion in the middle of Lake Minnetonka and he'll be special, right? Like you can drop on the Panthers, he'll be, because it's an individual thing. Like DB is an individual thing, wide receiver, an individual type of thing, right? Still dependent on the quarterback, but still individual. For a quarterback, you need the O-line to be good. You need receivers that can be good.
Right.
You need
a lot of moving parts to work well for you.
Absolutely, right? So it should not. If Shedeur is my son, all I would be telling him is, listen, it doesn't matter how high you go. It matters what situation you go, because you can go #4 and be with the You can be at #4 and be with the Raiders, or #2 and be with the Raiders, and in 2 or 3 years later, you probably the most sacked quarterback in the league. What benefit does that do?
Exactly. Yeah. What benefit is that? Now everybody's saying, well, you know, the only reason he got picked anyway this high was he's Coach Prime's son, or blah blah blah, whatever. We know he wasn't gonna be told he wasn't gonna do nothing anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. But hey, Scott, I'm gonna let you. I ain't gonna take up too much of your time, man. But hey, do your thing, man. Stretch your arm out. Come on, stretch your arm strong. That's the old school stuff from back in the day. Do your thing, boy. Take care.
Appreciate it. I'm saying, absolutely. Did you not see the Baylor game? Did you not see the North Dakota State game? Like, abso-freaking-lutely. He saved the defense and he saved the offense and he saved his dad's ass a couple times. No diddy, right? Like, it just, listen, man. The one thing, and I'm mad that this has become a Shedeur conversation, but it's all right. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's off script for a reason. The one thing you have to be very cognizant of when you're talking about Shedeur is very simply, he's a peacemaker, right? Like, if you've ever played football, if you have a guy, like, you know, you got a guy, you're always going to feel like you're in the game because you got that guy. Didn't matter if he plays running back. Don't matter if he plays wide receiver. It doesn't matter if you know, when you got a guy, you like, shit, as long as we got him, we good. I don't care what nobody say. Wins or losses, you feel confident in what you have because of who is playing the quarterback, who's the running back, because you know they're going to make a play. You know this because that's just what they do. And that is what Shedeur is. You can say whatever you want about what he can't do, but what he is, he's a playmaker in big time situations. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. So, does he save people? Absolutely. He saves a lot of people. All right, Saints can't even sign a water boy. He can do. Bronny did hire, didn't know that they had money issues like that. But yep, that's just what it is. That's it. What it is, man. I ain't gonna keep you guys no longer, man. But listen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always, man. Listen, tonight, 7:30, Outspoken for all my HBCU guys. See you then. See you there. All right. Listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'ma holla. God bless.